We're going to have tremendous growth. What I'm talking about is all about growth. We're going to make our money back on growth. We're going to also, we're going to grow like nobody's ever grown before, but we're going to bring tremendous growth back.
All right, don't get that any better than that if you ask me. Growth, growth, growth. We've got David Malpass, former president of the World Bank Group, and I might add, Undersecretary of the Treasury during the Trump years, and Scott Bessent, founder of Key Square Group, a leading global hedge fund. Gentlemen, welcome. Growth tonight. I think he's going to talk growth. I think he's in a good space, and I think it'll help him, won't it?
It sure will, if he and I hope he will really push the point. She stands for slow growth, and they keep defending the idea that 2% is enough, that the U.S. has these low expectations, and they want to maintain them by regulation, by high taxes. And Trump is just saying, look, that's not good enough for me. I want more and more for the American people. Middle class has to have more growth.
You know, Scott, on that point, to David's point, I never actually hear Democrats use the word growth, ever. They, redistribution, fairness, punishing the rich, pay their fair share. But the word growth, or for that matter, the word prosperity, it's like not part of their lexicon. And I will bet you Kamala won't mention growth tonight.
Well, Larry, the only thing they want to grow, they want big government. They want the government to get bigger. They've made the debt bigger. And now they're going to have to make taxes bigger. That's what's growing. And when you have candidates like Harris and Waltz who have zero experience in the private sector in their adult lives, they don't know what growth means. And you, David, and I have been around long enough to know that you can change the debt dynamics trajectory of a nation by increasing the growth. Nothing solves all the problems.
Solves a lot.
Yep.
Growth solves a lot. You think he'll mention Elon Musk in that commission? I don't know whether he will, whether he'll have an opportunity to. But as Scott was saying before, people are very happy with that. It shows a commitment to lower spending and limited government, which has to be part of an anti-inflation program.
Absolutely. And the public really just wants anybody in Washington to do anything that's in their benefit. So this idea, they say, well, waste, fraud, and abuse won't be big enough to solve the deficit problem. That's not right, because once you start in the direction of some kind of constraint on Washington and the swamp, then it will add to itself. Plus, markets react forward-looking. I'm really concerned about this unrealized gain.
Yes.
She had a bad idea, which was price controls, and I thought that, well, there can't be a worse idea than that. And then they came up with one that's worse.
Okay, so that's really important. You read Hal Scott's piece today. You know Hal Scott from Harvard Business School? He's a wonderful man. I've known him for many, many years. Banking expert. But basically, you have an unrealized capital gains tax. You will destroy the stock market, and you will destroy the savings of 130 million Americans. Not just the very richest who will pay, but the entire market will cascade down.
Yeah, the other thing you will destroy is the venture capital and entrepreneurial ecosystem that only the U.S. has, that created Elon Musk, that gave us, our gigantic tech companies, because these entrepreneurs can go anywhere in the world. Elon Musk came from South Africa and settled in the U.S. If you put in the unrealized, the capital gains tax, he will go to Singapore. People like that will go to Abu Dhabi. They'll go to.
But meanwhile, if you start selling, there's no end to it. I mean, in all seriousness, what Hal Scott was laying out, he's not really a macro guy. He's just thinking of it in a common sense, practical way. Once you start selling, the selling's not going to end.
Right.
Right? Because the whole system have to raise cash.
If you tax it, you're going to get less of it. And where the idea comes from. This the globalism it is in the G20. So in Brazil, where they've been meeting all year long,
right.
Brazil and France said we've got to have a tax on wealth. That's in part because the U.S. creates so much wealth, so much jobs. They want to get at it, and so that's this elitism that's really permeating the Harris campaign.
Scott Bessent, are tariffs necessarily inflationary?
Not at all, Larry. They can be a one-time upward price adjustment. Historically, the currency absorbs about half the level of the tariff. The producers in their margins could absorb it.
That's it. Can I just focus on that? Okay. I'd want it to end unfair trading practices, all right? I'm a free trader at heart. But I mean, Trump's had a point for many years with China. But what we found was Chinese companies wanting to sell their goods here had to cut their prices and their margins in order to sell them. That's not inflationary. I mean, the tariff was a wake-up call, but really the dynamic was not higher inflation. It's not like 1929. I mean, we're not raising tariffs 60 or 80%. This is a tough one, but Wall Street keeps believing that any tariffs at all are inflationary.
Yeah, well, look, it's easy to be linear. It's harder to do the proper work because there are elasticities that will happen. Consumer preferences will change. Other industries, other countries will start substitution, and we'll get domestic supply.
And David Malpass, if you produce the goods here, you're going to get a 15% corporate tax rate, which would be a great relief and would wash out any tariff problems.
That's right. Though it's hard to keep track of what you produce and is it being produced in the U.S. So there's a challenge. But a different point is that the global trading system is really broken. It's not working. And so you can't just look at the idea of let's negotiate this into a better situation, including with China. You can't compare that to an ideal system. You've got to compare that to what we're doing right now, which is really broken. And so somebody's got to start this movement toward a better trading system.
Well, I think that's one way to do it. I just don't see how lower taxes, less spending, lower regulations, unlocking energy, fossil fuels again, and protecting our trading rights, I don't see how that's inflationary. I just don't get that. I mean, Wall Street thinks cheap labor. I guess that's what they want. They want another 10 million immigrants. That's one hell of a price to pay for cheap labor. And the cost of that labor is just going to be enormous. I'm just thinking out loud. I hear a lot of this stuff. I'm sure you guys do anyway. David Malpass, Scott Bessent, thank you very much.